Oh, fuck
Your
is
squad
that
mate's
kid
back
doing?
on. Hardpoint relocated. Secure the target area.
Close, 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 close.
Enemies inside the perimeter.
Bro, my movement is so good. Yo, what's good? It's Nav, and today I got y'all with a highly requested video. It's a different type of video, but today I got y'all with a movement guide. Now, even though the movement's pretty bad in this game and there's not much you can do, there is still some things that you can do to outplay your opponents. So I'm going to be showing that to you guys in this video. But yeah, anyways, let's start out with the settings. So pretty much we're going to go over the controller settings. Now the button layout I use is bumper jumper tactical. I think this is the best button layout for non-claw players, which I am a non-claw player. So I think bumper jumper tactical is just the best for me. And it just makes it so that I can fluidly move around with my controller. And you want to make sure you can keep your thumbs on your joysticks at all times so you're always ready for fights. So bumper jumper tactical just works for me, and it's a really good button layout for non-claw players. Now the sensitivity I've been using is 2020. This is just a really fast sense, and I just really like it. I've always played max sense, as you guys know from Rebirth, and also just from trick shotting back in the day. I just always played max sense, so I've always been used to max sense, so that's why I play max sense. It just feels good for me. I wouldn't recommend it because it is pretty fast. I'd recommend something around like 1212 or something lower, but I just like max sense, so that's what I stick with. And then my ADS is 1.0, and that's pretty much my settings. Now for the movement settings, you guys are going to want to come down here to gameplay, and you're going to want to make sure your automatic sprint's on automatic tactical sprint. Make sure that's on that because that's critical. That's huge. That's the most useful setting in the game, to be honest, because you don't want to be running and not be tac sprinting, because when you tac sprint, that's the fastest you're running. So you want to make sure you're tac sprinting right when as you're sprinting. So you want to make sure automatic tactical sprints on. And then pretty much all these you guys can copy as well. These are like the best settings. And then over here, this doesn't really matter, but my dead zone is 0.04 now. My controller is pretty old, and the dead zone is 0.04 now. I used to play 0.0, so yeah, but that's my dead zone now. And then all this you guys can copy as well. Now for the movement, pretty much some of the movement techniques are kind of useless, but it does help you sometimes. Now the slide is the first thing I'm going to be going over. The slide is very useless. It's very slow. They did up the speed a little bit, but it is still useless, and honestly it's kind of pointless to slide unless you're like wanting to get out of a gunfight. So like you could, let's say you're behind this, you jump out, you shoot someone, then you can slide away like this and then maybe get some more shots. But what I like to do sometimes to go into fights to throw your opponent off is you can slide YYN, and then it like makes it so that your gun's up quicker. You can shoot quicker once you YY. So slide YY and then shoot like that. And that's just like throwing your opponent off sometimes. It does give you a disadvantage if you are going into a gunfight like that. But if it does throw your opponent off and they're not expecting it, you can get an easy kill doing that. And that's pretty much it for sliding, because sliding is just really useless in this game. There's no like slide cancel you can do or just nothing like that. So that's pretty much it for sliding. Anyways, the next thing I'm gonna go over is the dive. So the dive, you can kind of use this in a way. It's more useful than the slide for sure. The dive, you can also get out of gunfight. So you peek that, you want to get out of that gunfight, you can just dive behind corners and stuff, and it's way quicker than the slide, obviously, to like get out of gunfights. So I use the dive a lot to get out of gunfights, so that's a huge way you can use the dive. Now another way you can use the dive is to gain momentum off of diving off of a ledge. So pretty much what you're going to want to do is once you're running here, you dive off that, and as you can see, it gives you a little momentum, kind of like that. You can get a lot more momentum, and you can throw your opponent off a lot doing that. And there's a lot of spots you can do that on. You can do that on multiple spots, but pretty much you do that. You want to make sure you line your knees up kind of with like this corner right here, this edge. So like right here, go like that, and then it gives you a lot more momentum. It's a really good technique to use in gunfights, especially to get out of fights. You can kind of do it on like anything, literally. And yeah, just like anything there's a ledge on, you can do that, and it's gonna get your gun up, and you're gonna have a lot more momentum while running, and it's just gonna throw off your opponent a lot. Yeah, so I really recommend learning this like dive jump thing. It's a really good technique to learn, and it can give you a lot of momentum in gunfights, and it can just help you win a lot of fights. Now, the next thing I'm gonna go over is snaking. So snaking is very crucial in this game. I think this is the most crucial technique that you need to learn, especially in stuff like ranked play, even Ashika Island. If you're trying to squad wipe a team by yourself, snaking helps a lot because it does throw off your opponent a lot, and it just throws off your enemy all the time, and snaking just helps a lot. So this is what snaking is. It's when you're going all the way down prone to the ground, but then coming up at the same time. You can get shots off like that. So as you can see, snaking is very crucial, as when you peek, they can literally see the top of your head, and then they see you go down again. So pretty much like that. And this is just a very crucial technique. It wins you a lot of gunfights, and it can honestly just help you a lot in every situation, because obviously there's a lot of like boxes like this around the map on Ashika, and especially in all the maps on ranked play, and it can just help you a lot, and it's just a very useful technique. So I definitely recommend learning how to snake. Now the next movement technique I'm gonna show y'all is the nahv switcheroo. Now this technique isn't very useful in this game just because of the TTK, but if they do make the TTK higher, it's going to be very useful. But you can still use it as well if you are going against like people that aren't as good. This is definitely just a Warzone, Ashika Island technique, because in ranked play you're just not going to be able to do this. But pretty much all you do is when there's an enemy, you shoot them, and then once you shoot, you switch to the other side and then like do like a kind of bunny hop, even though you can't really bunny hop in this game, but you just shoot and then switch like that. It helps during Warzone fights, but definitely don't try this in ranked play. You're just gonna get gunned. But definitely you could try this in Warzone because it does throw your opponent off, and that's gonna help a lot. And it's a really nice like flashy movement. All right, so I forgot to go over tac sprinting. This is like the biggest part of this game, and especially because the tac sprint is kind of bad in this game. It doesn't last for long, and you have to reset it a lot. So pretty much to reset your tac sprint, there's a couple ways to do it. You can dolphin dive, that resets your tac sprint every time. And if you guys don't know what tac sprint is, it's when you're running at the fastest pace possible like this with your gun up, and then when you're not tac sprinting, you run like this and you're running slow. If you dolphin dive, it automatically resets it, and it will do that every single time. As you can see, it resets it every time. Now the best way that I reset my tac sprint, because dolphin diving by resetting it, you can do that like when you're out in the open or whatever, but if you're in a fight and you want to reset your tac sprint and you dolphin dive, it can definitely get you killed. So the way I reset my tac sprint is I'm running, and then when it goes away like this, I crouch YY and aim in like that. So pretty much what I do is I double crouch YY aim in, and then there, and that resets it every time. And that's just the best way to keep a fluid movement and just keep running, and so that you don't have to stop and do a dolphin dive like this and probably get killed. So that's just how I reset my tac sprint, and that's probably one of the biggest things in this game, especially if you want to do movement. So make sure you guys learn how to reset your tac sprint, go in custom games, practice it, and just make sure to learn the way that I do it by crouching, YYing, and aiming in, so that you guys can keep a fluid movement and you aren't always just dolphin diving to reset it, because that will get you killed sometimes. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for tac sprinting. Anyways, that's pretty much going to be it for the movement guide. I know it's pretty short. There's just not as much movement techniques you can do in this game, and it's just, we're very limited on the movement. But I hope this did help you out. I hope it wins you a lot more gunfights in Ashika Island and Warzone and even ranked play. And I hope you guys did enjoy. I love y'all. Thank you for all the support. I appreciate every single one of y'all. And yeah, I'm out. Peace.